This just amazed me, right? So, a lot of people heard of Luigi Mangione, the guy who killed the guy in New York outside of Manhattan. And the way he got caught was because he was just sitting outside the hotel and they had him on camera sitting outside the hotel. And then he went to New Jersey or whatever like that, right? Now, that's amateur because a professional hitman wouldn't just sit outside of a hotel in front of a camera, right? But that, I'm guessing that's just the way these hitmen work nowadays, you know. I've had the same experience out here, right? So you see this is the YMCA, right? And you see all these food trucks. Wasn't none of these here when I came here a year ago. None of them. The reason they put these food trucks here is so the informants in the rooms, they don't have to leave. So they just come outside, get something to eat, go back in the room, and they work on shifts. So I've literally seen people come out of this hotel, come in the YMCA, go back. There's another apartment over there. They'll come out the apartment and come to this hotel. And like on a rotating basis, this has been going on for a year now. I literally seen a guy, so the parking lot is over there. The guy go in the parking lot, he drove up, and then he walked in the middle of the street, like he's like looking under it. And he literally walked in the middle of the street, walked back to the parking lot, and then walked back in, just looking like an idiot. Kind of like how the Luigi Mangione, I call him the Luigi Mangione hitman. So you see you got somebody over here, like literally 24/7, they'll have somebody. I've literally seen a couple days ago somebody come out the hotel, sit in the grass, and see a skinny white guy. Kind of like the way the Mangione guy, right? So I'm real familiar with this area. It's a strip club right there. And then it's another little massage spa strip club over there. And they used to have like homeless people sitting out there. So like, kind of like where that wall is right there. And the black guy, he was sitting out there with some other Asian guys. And then he was finna run up on me, whatever. They were sitting down and he stood up, he was about to run up on me. So the guy, he was with some Asian guys, and the Asian guys told him like, hey, just relax, not right here. Because that's the conference center right there. So they have like big meetings. They have a Miss Hawaii beauty pageant, like at this hotel. They have a Miss Hawaii beauty pageant. So this ain't no ghetto area. But just to get an idea how silly these people are out here. Like this another informant. They have people walk back and forth with dogs or whatever. So this more, they got like Gucci and Prada and all that type of stuff in there, right? This not no little ghetto area. Gucci, Prada, Louis Vuitton, all that type of stuff, right? So they got a bus stop across the street. If you go down there and walk, it's across the street, and it's a park right there. Somebody got stabbed at the bus stop, and then on the 4th of July, somebody got stabbed. Even today, this fool right here, you see these motorcycles right here? This dude literally got on the motorcycle. This is the hotel right here, so I'm guessing he stayed here. He's got on the motorcycle, walked over to me, asked me for a cigarette. Like, you standing at the hotel, and then he's just sitting there staring at me. So that's a Luigi Mangione hitman. They just sit there and stare at you, and you might as well just shoot somebody in front of a police station, basically. It's idiotic, you know what I'm saying? Especially like in a wealthy area. Now, if you do it in the ghetto, it don't matter. But like how Luigi Mangione did in Manhattan, that's like a rich area in New York. This is not like, this is right by Waikiki. So if you go like, make a left and it's Waikiki right there. So it's like a bunch of hotels, tourists. Like I said, this hotel, they had the Miss Hawaii beauty pageant. But you got fools out here like that. So this is one fool. He was on, I don't know if it made the news or not, but so it's a strip club right there where all them lights is. It'd be a lot of fights and all that over there. So one dude, I don't know if he was Asian, Polynesian, whatever, was on ankle monitor. He was on an ankle monitor on a probation, whatever. Came to the strip club, he waving his gun around, and he ended up getting arrested or whatever. I guess he was fighting over there. So it'd be like a lot of the strip club over there be like fights and whatever like that. And that's what these informers do. Basically, they just hang around in front of the hotel. I've seen it where I'll come outside, they'll be sitting on the steps, sleeping in the grass. It's just idiotic. And it's been going on for like over a year now. They just find new people and do it over and over. So I'm guessing the guy who was coordinating it, he just like coerced people to do it. Because he could tell none of these are like professionals or whatever like that. So he just grabbed some guy, I guess, some random home. I literally seen people stand at this hotel and then they over there sleeping in the park in the grass, male and female. And you could tell, like, you know, they weren't Hawaiian, they weren't from here. They probably flew them in from some other country, Thailand, Indonesia, wherever, you know, and just had them. And then this hotel, this apartment right here, right? It was a guy, he killed the guy. It was a black guy, I think he was Nigerian or some type of African or something like that. This was like 2 years ago, you know. But the guy, he was getting evicted because he ain't pay his rent. So he actually killed the landlord. So you got them kind of fools out here. I never heard of that. I mean, if you ain't pay your rent, you getting evicted. Why you gonna kill the landlord? So it was a big deal. I don't know if it made the news or not or whatever. And they'll literally come up to me like the guy pushing the motorcycle now or whatever. He literally got on the motorcycle, got off, walked over to me like, hey, you got a cigarette? On his phone. They always on their phone too, like either text messaging or calling. Cause I remember when I was with Brittany in Vegas, she was a prostitute, she was a streetwalker, but she did like call girl stuff too. And you know, sometimes when I would see her on the border highway, she would like have a phone, but she wouldn't say nothing. So that's how you could tell, like, if they're talking to a handler or whatever. They'll be on the phone, but they won't say anything. And it's like obvious, you know, they'll just be on a, you know, sometimes they just hold the phone in their hand on speakerphone or whatever like that. So, it's like blatantly obvious. Luigi Mangione, the guy in New York, man. And I guess that's just the strategy that killers use nowadays. It's kind of stupid. You know, even an amateur should know not to be so blatant if you're trying to get away with a clean verdict. Like I was saying, like the guy I see here, because they always have people sitting outside this hotel. He literally pulled up in a motorcycle. A lot of them be riding mopeds, motorcycles, and then walked in the middle of the street right here, and then walked back. Because this is a hotel, this ain't no apartment, or this ain't no little ghetto area just to be hanging around or whatever like that. And it's obvious because, like, they'll walk around, like, they always constantly have people walking around, and they'll stop and talk to each other or whatever. So it's organized, but it's two groups. So it's a James Bond movie that just came out recently, and it was two James Bonds. It was James Bond, a white guy, and a black lady. And both of them were 007s. And that's how this is. They literally got like at least two groups, two separate entities, on the same mission. Because you get the way I could tell, because they all do the same thing. So like they have Japanese, Koreans, Thai, Indonesians, Brazilians, Mexicans, Russians, Australians, South Africans. They all do the same thing. And obviously, there's cultural differences between countries and stuff, so people don't act the same like robots, you know what I'm saying? So it's like so blatantly obvious. And the thing about it that's funny to me is like if you just gonna murder somebody, kill somebody, whatever, and you just gonna make it blatantly obvious, just do it in the middle of the street. It don't matter trying to cover it up or do a clean hit or whatever you want to call it. You might as well just do it in front of the police station if you just really want to kill somebody. But it took me a while to figure this out. So like the same way the mob worked back in the 1920s in Chicago, they could pay off the police. So like whatever little city cameras they got, they could delete the footage. Like just normal people walking around, they could turn a blind eye and just say they didn't see anything, whatever like that. So it's pretty easy to murder somebody if you organize, if it's an organized network or whatever like that, And I've been out here 3 years now, since 2024. It's been the same thing constantly over and over. You would think I'd be dead right now, right? But I don't know, it's God's mercy. It gotta be God's mercy. That's the only way I can explain it. Because even when one of the guys, it was a black guy, just imagine walking down the street like this, right? And then you see a group of 10 people. There's no camera looking or whatever like that. Like around this area. And the guy actually stand up and kind of ran towards me. He started to run towards me. And then the other guy that was with me was like, hey, no, don't do it right here, you know what I'm saying? But they all in on it. Or most of them are, maybe one of them wasn't, who knows? But you would think after years they would figure out like, okay, I sleep with prostitutes. So I sleep with a prostitute, go to this hotel, and they can catch you outside the hotel, So, but they just have people like just sitting out here. I mean, it's so blatantly obvious. And this has been going on for years, not like a couple months, not like a couple weeks, like literally years. Like I said, I've seen people come out of this hotel, walk to this hotel. Another thing they'll do, they'll like come with they might even walk with a suitcase, because they got it's a bunch of hotels once you make a left on that light. So they'll walk like with a suitcase. So I'm guessing they're coming from some hotel in Waikiki and then come here. I mean, it's just so blatant, I seen a lady here, some black lady. I went to the VA because I'm a veteran or whatever. I went to the hospital to get my ID or whatever, my records or whatever I had to get. And then I seen her at the bus stop, and then she came there. So they constantly have somebody follow me, whatever. I remember when I was in Denver, Colorado, and I was gonna go to Reno, Nevada, because I stayed in Vegas, but I'd never been to Reno. So I was like, let me go to Reno. So I actually booked the hotel for like 2 weeks later or something like that. And I was staying at the hotel in Denver, Colorado. So within like the next day or 2 days, something like that, I got to the hotel where I was staying in Denver. I could see the parking lot, So I seen all these different cars all of a sudden, and some of them had Nevada license plates. Now, you do have people that, you know, go visit different states or whatever like that. But I mean, that's a hell of a coincidence, right? Book a hotel in a different state in Reno, Nevada, and then all of a sudden there's these cars at the same hotel I'm staying at with Nevada plates, and they look like raggedy cars too. They look like something somebody with money would drive, you know, because I guess people do cross-country trips on, you know, pickup trucks and junk like that. There's another informant right here. Like, they always have somebody come outside the hotel and sit outside or whatever, and they just kind of rotate around. I mean, it's so goofy, like, you sit in the middle of the street and shit like that. Like, this ain't no little back alley ghetto area, you know, where you can just sit in the street or whatever on the side of the road. It's just so ridiculous. I mean, I couldn't even if I had the amount of people to do all this, you know, it'd be so easy. So the point I'm trying to make is it's got to be guys that intervene some kind of way, because it's a bunch of fools running around. Like I said, over there, you see this big mall or whatever, hotel where it's a nice hotel. They had the Miss Hawaii beauty pageant. Some guy stabbed some guy across the street at that park, and you know, on July 4th, somebody got stabbed over there. And I go over there sometime. That on the other side of this mall, it's a big mall, but on the other side of it, it was a shooting. They got a club. They got some clubs over there. So people be shooting and stabbing over there all types of regular stuff. Most of them end up getting caught. The guy that stabbed the guy at that bus stop, he didn't get caught. Yeah, so he probably was informant, you know, they probably let him go or whatever. But it's so blatantly obvious. You know, this ain't the type of mall people just come to hang out and whatever, you know. Usually people that got some money, you know, they with their family or whatever to come here. But just like the average person ain't gonna come and just hang out or whatever like that, you know. They got like a little club in here or whatever, but you know, it's not like the most popular club in the city or whatever, you know. So it's amazing to me. The only reason I'm really even bringing this up, because to me this ain't no big deal. People get killed all the time and shit like that. But the fact that, like I said, the one guy who was with the guy and told him like, hey, don't do it right here or whatever. It was a couple black guys and a bunch of Asian guys, Filipinos, Polynesians, whatever they were. Another guy used to be out here at the crosswalk. There used to be a guy, he would sleep right there in between those little concrete blocks or whatever. And I would see him like almost every day. He'd come out at night and just sit there. So basically everywhere I go, this is the way it works when you get in profile or investigate. They'll look at your pattern. So like, let's say they know when I come out this hotel, right? And I walk down the street and I cross the street right there. And they know I usually, let's say I go around 12 o'clock and after. So they'll have people like sitting out here, sitting across the street, whatever. And they kind of like, that's how meticulous they are. You know what I'm saying? So they'll have somebody at the end, ready across the street, whatever like that. Let's say if I go at 1 o'clock and I walk that way, they'll have people everywhere. They'll have somebody over across the street right there, walking across the street. They'll have somebody up at the light over there. They'll have somebody behind that street right there. They'll have cars walk around. You know what I'm saying? I even seen it to where I went to Target one day, and the guy that was staying at this hotel was a black guy. Or he was like Jamaican or Haitian or something. And I saw him because we walked out the hotel. He walked out after me, whatever. So I went to Target. I went to get some cereal or some chips or whatever. And he walked in the same aisle that I was in. Now, the average person would think that's a coincidence if you don't know anything about, you know, how to stalk people, organized crime and shit like that. But not only did he walk through the same aisle when I went, it's just a Target over there. He walked in the same aisle then when I came back, I seen him because I was going in the hotel and I seen him across the street over there. So they'll literally have, like, let's say I go to Walmart and they know I like to get some butter and tea. They'll have it down to like, okay, when I go in Walmart, I go in aisle 5, aisle 7. Like, they'll have it, plotted out. Like, okay, he goes in this aisle and then he goes in this aisle. So they'll literally have people inside the store to walk in the aisle that I walk through. I even seen it one time. I was in Target like last week, a couple days ago, whatever. And these 2 white ladies came in and they were like, "Oh, a beeline to the juice." I was on the bus another time, a week ago or whatever, and this girl is on the phone with the guy, and she was like, "It takes 15 minutes to walk from this bus stop to the hotel," wherever she was talking about. Like, that's how meticulous they are and like follow me around. So they'll have it down like, okay, it takes 5 minutes to walk from here to here. So let's say I'm coming out the hotel and they got people around. They say, okay, it's gonna take you 5 minutes to walk to here. So you walk there, then this person walks here, and this person walks around. That's how meticulous they are. They got it down to how long it takes. 10, 15 minutes to walk this way, that way. Which side of the street I'm gonna walk on, if I'm gonna take these stairs, whatever, If I go in the mall, they say, okay, this guy walks through this store in the mall and then goes this way, and then they have people along that way or whatever like that. Whatever bus I ride, if I take a bus, they'll say, okay, this guy takes this bus and get off at this stop. So they'll have somebody at the stop that I usually get off on. I mean, it's real meticulous, there's a bus stop here, I get on that bus and go and get off on this stop. So they have somebody right there, whatever, like that, Like, they'll even have it to where, like, if I'm gonna get on a bus, so let's say I'm gonna go, whatever, take this bus right here. It's one right there across the street. And they'll say, okay, it's this stop, that stop. So they'll have, somebody get on at one stop, get off at another stop. Is real meticulous. I mean, to the T, how long it take to walk here, what bus stop here, whatever light here, if it's a camera here, if it's a camera there, whatever like that. I seen one lady talking, she was out here, and she was like, yeah, it's a camera right there, that corner, whatever. So, it's like all plotted out. Where the cameras at, where the bus stops at, wherever, every little detail about something, like with that hotel, okay, they'll say like, okay, it's a whole elevator here, a stairway here, you can go out this stair, it's like almost the way we would work in the military, So if we gonna raid a village or a house in a village in Iraq or something, okay, it's 20 houses here, this is the entrance, this is the exit. We've seen activity of 5 people in this house, 10 people in this house, and 2 of them look like they Al Qaeda. It's like real specific, like meticulous, like military type plot. So this ain't something that some average person can do. This ain't like it's obvious it's organized or whatever like that. I ain't a bunch of fools just running around yelling and talking stupid or whatever like that. but they all act like robots. So you can kind of tell, like, this Hawaii, this a tourist place. People come here to have fun. But ain't nobody gonna come here and be all uptight, being all sad or whatever, like looking like a fool and broke, ain't got no money, nothing like that. Like I literally seen, like, I was down there, I was smoking right there where the trees are, and this black guy walked up. He was with his girl, and he looked broke. Looked like he was some type of Caribbean or whatever. I don't think he was a foundation black American, whatever. So he walked up to me and was like, "You from here?" I was like, "What you want?" He's like, "You from here?" And he asked me again. I was like, "What you want?" And then he got like irritated and mad, and he's talking. So they'll when they talk to me, they'll talk stupid. That's another way I can tell. Like they will conversate with me, like, "Hey man, it's a concert going on here, or it's a nice Japanese restaurant over there. The waitress is cute." Like they won't conversate with me. They'll just like make a statement, ask a question. You know what time it is? You got a cigarette? You know where the bus stop is? But it won't be conversation. They act like they're on drugs or drunk or alcoholic or something like that. Like I said, this ain't no ghetto, dangerous area. This is a tourist area. So if people gonna talk, generally they're gonna be like friendly and jovial and happy. This ain't no little ghetto spot, like that. Like basically the people here, they know it's a lot of military here, so they know the local people that live here. If they see a black guy, they just assume he's in the military, or he might be some celebrity, a rapper, or athlete, or somebody with some money, or the military. Cause this ain't no common tourist place for black people. Just go to Hawaii like that. Not nobody broke, definitely. People broke, they might go to Vegas or Atlanta or something, But here, no, you ain't finna get on a plane and fly on a tight budget and bumming, asking for cigarettes and acting all stupid, So even like white guys, this ain't the type of place backpackers come. How you see them, like white guys in backpacking and they go little cheap places, hostels, go hiking and all. This ain't that type of place. Usually when people do that, they do that when they go to different countries, Mexico or Colombia. Go stay at a hostel for $20 a night and go climb up a mountain or some city stuff like that. So it is real obvious, like this ain't no backpacking type of place, Even though they got hostels here and all that, and you can go climb up Diamond Head and all these different mountains, this ain't that type of place. People come for that. Not popular, You might have one or two people come out like that, but it's not like it's about to be like 100 people coming out here and then taking a bus, a city bus. Most people, they're gonna take a rental car and get a rental car and get a nice hotel and whatever like that. Go out to eat nice place. Come looking clean. They ain't gonna come with no big fishing, looking like a baseball player hunting deer or something like that. It's not the type of place for that, So that's what I'm saying. That's the point I'm trying to make. It's like Luigi Mangione. It's blatantly obvious, So the only way I could still be alive, and it's not only here. It's when I was in Denver, Detroit, Phoenix, Arizona, Las Vegas. It's doing the same stuff. The only way to explain me still being alive is not losing my mind. Is God intervention, God mercy, whatever. This ain't something a normal person deals with, all type of people that end up missing and mysteriously die for whatever reason. It happens all the time. But I'm guessing the only reason I'm spared for now or whatever, because these people ain't never gonna stop. Just like they ain't never stopped with O.J. Simpson, they already, I can't even go out to eat at a restaurant because they'll put poison in my food, all that. So, me personally, the only reason I think I'm spared after all this is to prove God's mercy and protection or whatever. Because I couldn't pay for this. If I was in the mob, and I had to had security and all that, that don't matter. You could be a president, have Secret Service, and somebody still kill you. So you could pay for all the security or whatever you want. If somebody want to get you, they'll get you. But for some strange reason, with all this coordinated effort, I'm still here, And it's the only way to explain it is God, I've always been like outspoken, even when I was younger, So I think maybe that has something to do with it, because I'll give praise and thanks, or I don't have like no ego and think I'm better than nobody. I don't think I'm special, nothing like that. So God can use somebody like that that's gonna give him praise, show his love and mercy or whatever, whatever, I don't know. But anybody who know my situation, and there's a bunch of people out here that know, like, even when I was out here like a couple months ago, there was these two, I think it was behind the truck over there, and they was talking, and the guy told them, there's two guys, I think, oh no, it might have been a female guy, and the female told them, like, they tried 3 times. So I'm guessing, they tried 3 times to kill me or whatever. And the guy was like, no way, or whatever, like that. You know what I'm saying? I remember when I was in Denver, and there's all these white ladies. I was downtown Denver. There's all these white ladies. There's like 5 or 6 of them, and they was talking to this guy. And then she told him, she was like real loud and like excited. She's like, high risk, high reward. Start laughing. Because I remember, I used to go downtown Denver a lot. And I remember this one guy was on the phone, and the guy was like, he was like, would you do it right there? He's like, there's people around, whatever he was saying, Basically he was saying like, from what I gathered, from what it seemed like he was talking about, he was saying like, oh, would you kill him right there in the middle of the mall? Because downtown Denver is like a mall. So they got like cameras everywhere and all this stuff. It's a lot of people, it's a crowded area, it's not no ghetto area or whatever like that. So the guys on the phone, yeah, would you do it right there or whatever? Because they got like a movie theater there and all these different stores. It's like an outdoor mall. And it's similar to here, like how it's a bunch of people just walking around, like wandering around like aimlessly or whatever. That's how they was doing in Denver. And people don't just hang out at the mall, especially like in Denver, downtown. People don't really just go there just to hang out, They'll go there to go shop or whatever, but there ain't no spot just to be hanging out or whatever like that. Especially if you like ain't got no money, if you ain't, it ain't like no ghetto area. And then the mall in Denver, in downtown Denver, is literally across the street from the state capitol. So the governor, the state Supreme Court, so it's like a lot of high-ranking politicians there and all that. So it's not a ghetto area at all. So it's kind of obvious. You see like some bum hanging out across the street from the state capitol at the mall. It's like, you ain't finna come here, and just be here, So that's like a covered killers will use, hitmen will use. They just act like they're a bum or homeless or whatever, and then that's their excuse for just sitting around or whatever like that. So they just come out the woodwork everywhere. I mean, every little bush, alley you could think of. Even the security guard next door, they'll have him walk around the back and look up in my room. I mean, it's just blatantly obvious, man. Like, and I see with prostitutes too, like, it would be so easy. They could just say, okay, they got a prostitute over there and I can go buy some pussy. And then they can come in the room and throw me off the roof or whatever, That's how they deal with like the drug addicts. If you a drug addict and somebody know you do drugs, like, okay, you can put poison in their drugs, or you can set them up and they can come buy the drugs and they kill them when they come to the drug house or something like that. Like I'll use restaurants for example. Let's say I like to eat at McDonald's, right? The stupid way to set somebody up would be like, okay, have a bunch of bums hanging outside, begging for change and cigarettes and shit, antagonizing people. So I'm already knowing, like, okay, they just the managers that just let bums just hang out at their store and smoke meth and do drugs in front of the store. Like, this is a little ghetto area. And then if I go in there and I see it's a bunch of bummy looking workers, I'm like, okay, they don't even look professional, They don't even look like they know what they're doing or whatever. Because I've had this experience where I went to like White Castle and McDonald's, Burger King's, fast food spots, and they'll put poison in my food. You know what I'm saying? So like this guy, this one of them, you could tell because he's on the phone and walking around. And it's obvious. Like I said, all these people, they do the same stuff over and over and over. But as far as like with the restaurant, if it's a bunch of bums around, I'm already knowing, like, okay, it's bums hanging around. The people that work here, they unprofessional. They look like some fools. Like, they'll mess up my order. I ain't finna eat here. You know what I'm saying? So, in a smart way, let's say I go to it's a nice McDonald's. It's clean. There's no bums hanging out, smoking drugs in front of the store. I go there. It's friendly service. And then they just put the poison in the food. That'd be the smart way to do it, right? Like, you wouldn't, if you don't call the bank, like, yeah, you don't have like 10 people standing outside the bank. And then, you just pull up like a regular customer. Just act like you're a regular customer, walk in. You don't have, crackheads hanging outside and all that. So it's the same thing right here. Like, as soon as I walk out the hotel, you got people out here, and it's like blatantly obvious. I mean, it's just so obvious. Man, they might as well walk around, hold up a sign like, "Hey, I'm an informant. I'm gonna follow you around." And then there's another informant across the street. He got a gun. He's gonna shoot you when you walk that way. To me, that's how obvious it is. So, like with the restaurant thing. Like here in the mall, instead of having bums and crackheads hang out and ask for cigarettes and shit, just have everybody come act normal, dress like you got some money and you shopping. I can go in, sit down, get something to eat, bam, put the poison in the food. You don't have to have a bunch of bums hanging around, So that's just how blatantly obvious it is. You can just tell the environment. Like, I grew up in Detroit, so like if I go to a part of the city, so like this guy, you could tell, right? He's just all leaned over. They look kind of like nervous, Like you could tell they're not professionals or whatever like that. And I've dealt with this for years, man. Like this guy, another thing they'll do, like if it's like 2 or 3 people, like they might get a text message on their phone, and they'll literally hold the phone and show it to the next person, but they won't say like, hey, whatever, they'll just like hold the phone up and then show them, and they'll look at it, and I guess it's some text messages they send them or whatever they want to tell them or whatever like that. I mean, it's just so, I call it Luigi Mangione. You basically just sitting outside a hotel in Manhattan, New York, a rich area with cameras everywhere, and just shoot somebody. And then with the Luigi Mangione guy, he was sitting outside the hotel for like hours. It wasn't like, he could just walk past and sit there for 5 minutes or whatever. He was like sitting out there for hours, pacing back. Then he had a hoodie over his head so you couldn't see his face, so it's obvious. That's another thing these people do, like, that makes it so obvious. COVID been over since 2021. So the way you could tell these people, first they look kind of bummy, but then they'll have like a COVID mask over their face like this. They'll wear a mask over their face, or wear a hoodie or something. Like, it's obvious they're trying to hide their face because COVID been over, so ain't nobody walking around with masks. And it's, 70, 80 degrees out here. It's too hot to be wearing a hoodie, especially a hoodie with the hood over the head. You know what I'm saying? So it's just so blatantly obvious. Like I said, I seen a white guy literally come outside the hotel, sit in the grass right there, and walk back and go in the hotel. Like, I just come over here and smoke, whatever, come outside and smoke. But he wasn't even smoking, he just like came out and sat down. It's just so obvious, man. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like Luigi, maybe. You got other stupid criminals, but the thing with Luigi, the guy, he was white, and then I guess he is Italian. Don't Italian got organized crime and mafia families, and he doing stupid shit like that. So another thing they used to do, like when they put up all these little food trucks out here, like I said, they put these trucks weren't here when I first came. So what they would do, like, these trucks would stay open when I first came here, about a year ago. They'll stay open till like 11 at night. No restaurant open till 11. What food truck, gonna be open till 11 at night? So it was open, so the informants, they work and they can come outside, get something to eat, take a break or whatever. So, sometimes I'll come outside and smoke, whatever, and it'll be like motorcycles out here, like different people, like 15, 20 people just sitting around, and they're not even eating, they just sitting around. Ain't nobody just hanging out at the YMCA food truck at 10, 11 at night. And then, like, when they always get quiet around me too, that's another way I can tell. Because people that's out here, especially if they're tourists, they're gonna be like, hey, yeah, I went to go see the Aloha show or whatever. They're gonna be in a jovial mood. They're not gonna act like they just came from a funeral or something like that, you know what I'm saying? And they act like little children, man. It's like, basically they act like somebody got a gun to their head, tell them, hey, do this, do that. You better do this, you better do that. It's not natural, It's like, anybody who's been around children know what I'm talking about. Like, if you tell 2-year-old, hey, you need to pick up your toys and clean up your toys, and then they kind of just going through the motions. You gotta stand over them and tell them what to do or whatever like that. That's kind of how they act. And they always on the phone. I mean, it's so blatantly obvious. And they get like all excited and shit. It's like, man, motherfuckers, you don't need to be doing no type of crime. Even if you could pay off the cops, because that's how basically, man, this is how most Latino criminals, most Asian criminals, and African criminals, people outside the United States, usually in those countries, like third world countries and stuff like that, they'll pay off the police. It's easy because, they got a crooked justice system and all this poor country and all that shit. So it's easy to just pay somebody off and turn a blind eye. And so it's a handicap, because if that's the mentality you have, is the only way you can get away with crime is pay somebody off and turn a blind eye, then you're not really professional. You just got somebody looking out for you. Like a professional, somebody who can go to a bank and plot it out and get away without, calling, without telling the police to stand down or whatever, or to shut off the camera. You just going in there, just, just they don't work like that. The Latinos and the Asians, the way they criminals work is more organized, and they pay off police and officials. So that's the mentality they have. So they don't have that real street instinct, you know what I'm saying, to move around and they just kind of lazy and kind of robotic and shit like that. I mean, this blatantly obvious. So like, when I was in Phoenix, I started listening to Brazilian music, and then all of a sudden these Brazilians show up, and a whole lot of Brazilians in Phoenix, you know what I'm saying? I remember when I was in Denver, I started listening to German music, then a bunch of Germans showed up. I mean, it's just so obvious, man. Like, these fools, they'll even use little children like this. So that's what I'm thinking is coercive, because ain't nobody gonna be spying on nobody with their children. You know what I'm saying? Like with their girlfriend and children and all that. You know what I'm saying? So you could easily coerce them, like, hey, if you don't do this, they gonna kill whoever. It's blatantly obvious, you know what I'm saying? And it's a spot, used to be right there, they used to sell pussy, like right there. It's another spot right there. So it's just all types of stuff. Like, I know that I'm familiar with the area too. You know what I'm saying? So I know, like, okay, it's a spot right there. They got prostitutes. It used to be a spot right here. I know whatever little restaurants, what time they open and close, what time the park close, what time the club close, what time Starbucks open. I'm familiar with the area too, you know what I'm saying? So I know, like, okay, this is a hotel right here, this is an apartment right here, whatever. I'm familiar. And then I was here in 2012 too, so I'm familiar with this area. Like Denver, I wasn't really familiar with the area when I went there. Phoenix, I wasn't familiar with the area. Vegas, I was there for years, so I learned it. But when I first went there, I wasn't familiar. But like here, I definitely know like what's around, who be around where, whatever like that. So it's just so blatantly obvious, man. And when you got all these people, all these resources, it don't take all that for one person. I mean, it's a joke, man. And they act like I don't know, like amnesia or some shit. Like I got dementia, like or whatever, you know. I don't know. So it's ridiculous. But the only reason I'm just trying to emphasize the point, like, there's no other reason to explain why I'm still other than God. It ain't just because I'm lucky. Like I said, people get killed all the time. I mean, and it's blatantly obvious. If you watch like true crime movies and documentaries and stuff, you kind of see the patterns. Usually people get themselves away before they do something, you know. Most people. Unless you like a high level type of criminal with experience, usually people don't get themselves away when they're trying to do something. it's a number one rule is having a lookout. You always have somebody like, you know, as a decoy or a lookout or whatever like that. You know, that's the number one thing. So I've seen it even to like where it's so obvious where like it'll be like, you know, an old white guy and then some nigga, and you could tell that they together, but they're not talking to each other, but they're in the same vicinity of each other, and you could just kind of tell they together, and one person looking out or whatever like that. You know, because all this bullshit about Luigi Mangione doing that by himself, he didn't do that by himself. Because how would he know, you know, when the guy was coming out the hotel, you know, somebody had to text him, call him, or whatever. It wasn't, he was just sitting out there, and he just happened to see the guy, because the guy could have came out a different door, or whatever like that. I'm sure they had more than one entrance at the hotel or whatever. But even with all that, you still gotta have a shooter, like with Luigi Mangione. So you can have all the lookouts, all the stuff in place, but somebody still has to be a shooter to go through with it or whatever like that. And like with Luigi Mangione, you know, you could see that he had on a hoodie and looked all bummy and all that. Like he wasn't wearing no suit, he was wearing like loose clothing so he could run or whatever, you know. So even with all this, like with all the people around, you could tell like who's the actual shooter or whatever like that. It ain't gonna be no guy with his little child and baby, but they'll still use them for a lookout, you know. But it's usually the guy, like it's a few people I was noticed like come around here a lot and they dress all bummy and hoodie and sweatpants and pajama pants and all that. And it's obvious. It's like ain't no bum finna be walking around here. This walking here. And they would do stuff like that. Walk over here and walk over there and then walk around. I mean, it's just so blatantly obvious. It's Luigi Mangione. The shooter, the killer, gonna be dressed bummy. They're not gonna be in none flashy, none jewelry, or nothing like that. You know, and I guess it could work like the Luigi Mangione guy. He got away to another state or whatever. He still was kind of stupid because it wasn't like he was just killing some nobody. Like he killed like a millionaire, somebody with money. They hired a lawyer, private investigator, all that. So if he just would have went to like another country or something, he probably would have got away with it. Even though they had his picture of his face and all this shit. If he in another country, they got rid of another country for him or whatever. So all this really ain't necessary for me. So another thing I'm guessing with this is like they using me as like a test dummy. So like, you know, obviously they gotta recruit people into the society and groups, and, you know, the crime families and all that. They gotta recruit people, right? So you could use somebody like some nigga that nobody knows and nobody cares about. So you can see like, okay, when you get this person, how is they gonna act in this situation? Are they gonna do what you tell them? Are they gonna turn snitch or whatever like that? So I'm guessing that Luigi Mangione guy, that wasn't his first person that he killed. Even though he was acting kind of like nervous and have to be able to do something like that, just to kill somebody that's cold blooded like that. Most people, they can't just do it. They gotta kind of warm up to it, like have some experience, you know. So that's why I'm guessing, like with me, they just use me as like a test. I'm like, okay, use this person, and then you can see how these people act, and they can get comfortable being a killer or whatever, you know. It's like training or whatever like that, because I could tell like a lot of them got no experience and no way to do it, whatever. But you know, you can make mistakes and figure it out, because you know, it ain't like you're going after the president or you got the Secret Service or whatever like that. You know what I'm saying? And then they can weed people out. So you know, it's just a bunch of people. And if they don't cut it, you can move them out the way. Just use, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm thinking they just use me as like some kind of test dummy. And you know, they got AI now, so they probably trying to test out their AI system. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no need to know that, oh, it takes 10 minutes from the bus to walk to the hotel, from this bus stop, and 5 minutes to walk here. Oh, that's unnecessary. So I'm guessing like they training some AI system or whatever like that. But all this is definitely coordinated. It ain't just like, this area ain't so busy with people just walking around, driving around. Everything closed over here, you know. And like I said, I see the same people doing the same thing. You know, the Asian person doing the same thing, Latino doing the same thing, a white person doing the same thing, a black person doing the same thing. And you just see the pattern. And it's just so obvious, you know.